In this video, we're going to take a look at how to find the median, the mean, and the modal score from a frequency table. So in this question, we have a dice being thrown 30 times, and we're given the breakdown of the results of the trial in the frequency table. Now, one thing that jumps out straight away is we have one frequency that is unknown to us, and before you try to calculate the median, the mean, or the modal score, you would have to calculate that x value. So to find x, what I will have to do is look at the information here, which tells me how many times did those numbers come up, and I know that I only did this experiment 30 times. So that means that all of these have to add up to give me 30. So I have 3 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus x plus 2, and all of that should be equal to 30. So adding it up, I've got 4 and 6, which gives me 10, 8 and 2, which gives me 10, and 3. So I've got 10 and 10 and 3, which is going to give me 23, plus x is equal to 30. And now what I'm going to do is subtract 23 from both sides, so I get x is equal to 30 minus 23, so I get x is equal to 7. So I now have one more piece of information that I didn't have before. Now I can start to look at that median, mean, and modal score. So the median, the first thing I would need to do for myself is tell myself, what does the median mean? And I remember it by median is the middle. So there's a D in middle and there's a D in median. So I'm looking for the middle value. And I'm looking for the middle value that occurs when I have 30. So the middle of 30 outcomes. And what we would have looked at in class is I would have drawn out a little sketch for myself. So I would have drawn out the 30 individual outcomes. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm going to need 6 of those. So I'm going to double that to give me 10. I'm going to double that again to give me 20. And then I'm going to just shrink these down for us so we can really visualize it. And I need 10 more, so I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I need one more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I'm going to select this and add 10 more on. And this is just to visualize the median. You don't need to do this every time. But what the median is the middle value. So I'm looking for the middle of 30. And what you would do in your head is say, okay, I'm going to take one off each end, and I'm going to keep doing that pattern until I get to the middle. So I'm taking one off each side until I'm left with one, or maybe sometimes two left in the middle. So what I'm left with here is I'm left with 2 in the middle. So that tells me that the median of 30 is in between those two outcomes, whatever they might have been. So normally if you have a list of numbers, the median is the list ordered from smallest to biggest, and then you count until you get to the middle. I didn't write them all out here. It would take me a very long time to write each of the outcomes out in order, but I just used the squares as a representation of the 30 numbers that I could be working with. And what I found is that it has to be in between the 15th and the 16th boxes, or the 16th and 15th numbers that we got, or the outcomes. So it has to be in there. So I'm looking then back up at the frequency table, and I'm looking at, when I count through the frequency table, where do I land when I'm on 15 and 16? So I'm going to go back up, and I would fill in this as well as the 7 that we know that it is. So the frequency is how often it came up, and remember, it's already ordered, so I don't need to mess around with the numbers and where they are. So if I start here and I go across, that brings me to 3 numbers. So in terms of my boxes, I've just ticked off 1, 2, 3. So I might look at the next one then. So 4, that brings me another 4 boxes in. So it brings me to here, which is 3 boxes and 4 boxes, which brings me to 7 boxes. So I'll tick off 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I've got another 6, and if I go as far as here, then that brings me to 7 plus another 6, which is 13. And I could visualize that in my boxes down below as well. So by adding another 6 boxes, so tick off another 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to go from 13 up to 21 because I'm adding another 8, and that will bring me to 21. So what I know now already, without ticking off those boxes, even before that, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But what I found is that in the process of adding that 8 from here, I've actually included the 2 boxes that I wanted. Those 2 guys were in it. So that means that the 15th and the 16th terms, or the outcomes, they lie in that box. Because I've already counted 3, 7, 13. So the 15th and the 16th appear in this box here. And that is when the score was 4. So I can tell then that the median score, which is the middle score, if I was to list them all, is between 15 and 16, and I check in my frequency table where was 15 and 16. It was in this box here, and that was when the score was 4. And the last one is the next one is to find the mean, right? So to find the mean of a frequency table is a little bit different to what we're used to, because normally what we have is a big long list of numbers and we would add them up and divide by the number of numbers. But in a frequency table, we've organized that information so that it's in a table and it's condensed down, and I need to keep that in my head when I'm doing this calculation. So what I need to do is take note that I had 1, but if that was listed out, it would actually look like this: 1, 1, 1, because 1 came up 3 times, 2 came up 4 times, so it would be 2, 2, 2, 2, and so on. And I could keep writing those numbers out, but it would take a very long time to do that. There is another way that we can think about it. Instead of writing them all out and adding them up and dividing, we can use the frequency table. I know that the number 1 came up 3 times, and instead of saying 1 plus 1 plus 1, another way in maths that we can do that is say it's 1 multiplied by 3. Instead of saying 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, I have 2 coming up 4 times. So 4 times 2. And I can do that for each number in the frequency table, and then I know already that the total number was 30. Okay, so I'm going to do that then for each one. So I'm going to have 1 by 3 plus 2 by 4. And it does not matter whether you say 4 by 2 or 2 by 4. It doesn't matter with multiplication. I'm going to have 3 coming up 6 times. So I'm going to have plus 3 by 6. I'm going to have 4 coming up 8 times. So plus 4 by 8. Plus 5 by 7. And we had as well 6 by 2. And I divide all of that then by 30. And you just pop that into your calculator. So you're going to have 1 by 3 plus 2 by 4 plus 3 by 6 into your calculator, plus 4 by 8 plus 5 by 7 plus 6 by 2, all of that divided by 30, and I get 3.6 as my answer. And the last question then, now we're on the last question, it was the modal score, and the mode, MO, is the most common, so mode and most common. And we're looking then in the frequency table to see which one was the most frequent, and that's going to be the one with the largest number. So the mode in this scenario is 4, a score of 4. So that's 3 different calculations that you could be asked to do from a frequency table. If you're stuck, draw a sketch for yourself to map it out like I did down here with the median. That is a bit tricky, but with practice and with the problem solving skills on the day, you should get it.